Yeah. My biggest issue, I keep saying it in so many different ways, but my biggest issue is people don't realize that I'm being mean, okay? And when I say people, myself included, and that's my biggest issue in life, okay? So, it's like when I say things, I'm not like being mean is like not on my mind at all. So, yeah, it's just like y'all. And that's where I like, and that's how I started being like fake, because I was like, it's better to be fake nice than real mean on accident. You know, it's better to be fake on purpose than really mean on accident. That's what me and my bestie used to say. Because it's like, but then being fake got me into trouble because now it's like, I be doing things that's like, you know what I'm saying? That I'm like, "Ugh, you would have never done that before." And it's like to the point where it's like even things that I have been doing since the inception of being fake was planted in my mind. I I oh my god, y'all. And this is, and every time I have this conversation, I never finish this conversation because to this day, still new ways in which I'm being mean. I don't realize they'll just pop up. Okay, I was like, I beg, leave me to just stay here and reminisce, and reminisce and commemorate. Okay, because I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to, adjust the inner workings of the system we call life. You understand? So yeah, um, yeah, and this is like I'm gonna tell y'all about the first time I realized I was being mean. Okay. And I think it was also the first time my mom witnessed my mean streak. Okay. So I live in a really nice neighborhood. Okay. So my mom had noticed me being kind of mean because and my mom was from the South. So this is just the way she put it. But this is not what I was actually doing. So with I struggle with putting it the way my mom put it, or where my or like what I was actually doing. Because when I describe what I was actually doing from my perspective, this story is drastically different. So, like what I was doing, I was just minding my business, trying to focus. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, I'm young, so I'm easily distracted. You know what I'm saying? But then my mom, I remember before the incident I'm about to talk about, my mom was like, My mom was like, even the white women were nicer to the boys in Bono than you are. I was like, Mom. I was like, first of all, that's racist. Yo, can you believe my mom literally told me that the direct descendant of you know of the master of slavery treated black people better than I was treating the boys in my neighborhood. And I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa there. Like, that really caught me off guard. And like, I was really confused because I think I was trying to do something. And she was like, you didn't even notice the person, did you? She was like, you didn't even notice the person. You didn't even look, did you? I was like, I was like, in my head, young me, I was like, do you want me to like totally like check them out? I don't even know why that was going on in my mind. I think it's because I watched too much. I don't know. I think that's just what was naturally going on in my mind. So I I that really like even though I was trying to focus, that distracted me from every single thing that I was doing. And I was like, what? And I don't think my mom remembers saying that to me. I think she recalls my personality being the type of personality that warrants those kinds of things being said. But I don't think my mom remembers that she said that to me. So, um, so Yeah, and then I was like, I remember like after I got like not over it, but I remembered that I like, I think my mom was like called me because she was like watch out or something like that. I don't know. I was clearly like pondering like off like my mind was wandering. I woke up and I realized I was like, what was she talking about? Like, what made her say that to me? Like, my mom. That's like normally my mom ignores people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, normally my mom was like, is like, mind your business, and your business is that's all you need to mind. But like, yeah, like I don't know how to describe it. My mom, she was really weird when it came to like my every time my friends came over. My mom, like my mom had an established rule. She was like, "I'm in my boudoir." She wouldn't call it a bedroom. Okay, if we said mom's in her room, she would have fought us. But I don't think that ever left our mouths. So, um, so I mean, like my brothers could say that, but like my sister and I couldn't say that because my mom was like, "It's a boudoir to you, hun." Okay, because she was like, she got tired of us just walking into her room, like playing in her makeup and playing all of her things. So I yeah, my mom would be like, when I would tell her, ask her if my friends would come over, she would be like, "Yeah, they can come. You know where I'll be," and I'll be like, "Where?" Another second where I'm being mean, I don't realize I'm being mean. I'll be like, I don't know. I was like, home, and she was like, in my boudoir. Oh God, my mom and I's relationship, and so yeah. So I was trying to figure out why she was so upset. Like all of a sudden, that like I like in my mind, I think probably that's what was going on in my mind. I was like, I'm in my boudoir. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in my zone type of thing. My young ass. And so I I I think that was my mom trying to explain to me that like that you have to like have a boudoir in order to like really be saying that like I can't be in my boudoir just because I'm not focused type of thing just because I'm on my phone. So yeah, but still I was like trying to figure out why my mom said that, and my mom. And like how moms just be knowing what's on your mind. And my mom, she turns to me and she looks at me. She's like, you know, the neighbor complained about me the other day. And I was like, how do you know it's the neighbor? And she was like, because who else is going to submit the complaint? And I was like, so it must have been a specific kind of complaint. And she was like, yeah, it was a complaint about our property, Loli. And I was like, so the neighbor is the only person looking at our property? And she was like, wouldn't you hope so? And I was like, we have more than one neighbor. And she was like, did I say which neighbor it was? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes my mom, that's why I call my mom my bestie. Because my mom, she wouldn't always just like be strict. Sometimes she would actually engage my ignorance and my foolery. And you know what I'm saying? So sometimes my mom would actually correct herself in front of her children. So she was like, but when she would correct herself, it would be very minimal. So it was like, she's like, did I say which neighbor it was? And she just looked at me. And I was like, no. But like, that's exactly what I was talking about. And she was like, so what? And she was like, no, wait. What would you do if someone submitted a complaint about you? And I was like, honor their wishes. And she was like, no, but what if it was something you couldn't help? And she was like, and I was like, then I'd have to gain a new habit. I think I said something like that. That's not exactly what I said, but I think I said something like that. Then I was like, I think I said something like, um, If I can't help it, then I'm gonna keep doing it. Obviously, if I can, then I'm gonna honor their wishes. And she just looks at me and she was like, "No, you know which neighbor I'm talking about." And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" She was like, "There's only one neighbor that you know." And I was like, and this is how. Okay. Y'all, this is what I'm saying. I was being fake, kind of. This is not what I was ordinarily gonna say, okay? But like, because my mom was like kind of like, being intense with me, I was like, kind of defensive. So I was like, I mean, would you consider like the neighborhood across the street as our neighborhood, as our neighbors too? Or are we just talking about like the vicinity of the household? And she was like, no. She was like, perfect. Answer the question. Which one would you assume? And I was like, um, probably one of our like the neighbors that could see us the best. And she just paused. And she was like, okay, what if you got a complaint about the right side of your house? Which neighbor are you going to think it's going to be? And I was like, the neighbor on the right side of the house. That. And I was like, and she was like, okay, so think about it like that. So she was like, so the neighbors, that's what my mom said. She said, so the neighbors submitted a complaint about me again. And I was like, and I was like, um, and I was like, because like I never heard my mom say "the" like that. I was like, okay. So I was like, why are you so upset? Like, sort out the complaint. It's not about the neighbors. Just sort out the complaint. And she was like, no. What if this woman has like submits another complaint on me? Like, what if she just has a thing against me? And I was like, whoa. First of all, how do you know it's a woman? And she was like, who else has the time to sit down and submit a complaint? She was like, this woman is trying to fight me. And that's what I'm saying. This is why I say my mom was my best friend. Like, I know y'all probably don't believe that my mom would say this to me, but my mom, she was like, she was that upset about the complaint. So she was in a bad mood. So she was like, no, who else has time to sit down on their behinds and submit a complaint? And I was like, I just looked at her. She was like, no, because she was like, not only was it on the right side of my complaint, it was a complaint that you could probably only see if you were sitting down on a couch. And I was like, oh. I understand what you're saying. So I know which neighbor you're talking about now, and I think, but because obviously I'm like young, I'm still confused. Like I don't like the neighbors, the uncles, the aunts. It's like I know where they live, but like you know what I'm saying. It's like she didn't tell me if the actual complaint was actually on the right side or the left side of our house. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And then my mom tells me that. I think my mom starts talking to me about that. And you know what I do at that very moment? Young Lola, Stellar Lola. She's like, so does that mean you don't want my friends to come over anymore? And my mom was like, no. The complaint isn't that serious. I have a response prepared. you know, and then so I like obviously I can't press the issue any further. And so I'm like, okay, so you already submitted. You already have your response submitted. So like just submit the response. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then I was like, then you know what I'm saying? Then you know? And she was like, no, but why would the neighbor submit a complaint about me? And I was like, about the thing that she complained about. And my mom was like, and my mom just looked at me and she was like, no, no, this one feels different. So, yeah. And then I was like, okay. I didn't think much about it. Then I remember, like, sometime later, like, after that, like, the conversation ended. Friend hangout was still successful. The reason I can say that confidently today was because Lola, back in the day, whether my mom said yes or no, I was still gonna hang out with my friends because I had a cell phone. Yeah. So, friend hangout is success. Well, I should say, our chat was successful. The conversation was, you know what I'm saying? The interaction was had. So, yeah. So I'm like, I'm still on that interaction type of thing. And so then I forgot what my mom, she like, I think this was the first time my mom started asking me about my friends. Remember, like I said, she said that as far as I was concerned, she would be in her boudoir whenever my friends would come over. And yeah, so I was surprised that she was asking me about my friends. I don't have a cash app. I don't have a cash app. So yeah, so she starts asking me about my friends. And I'm like honestly, I didn't hear the question at first because she started asking me about my friends. And so she was like, no. She's like, Loli, what would you do? I forgot what the conversation what she asked. She was like, what would you do if your friend submitted a complaint about you after your recent hangout? And I was like, not be friends with them anymore. And she was like, see, you don't understand neighborhood. You don't understand what neighbors really mean. And I was like, I was really confused. Like, I didn't get why she was asking me that. And she was like, no. I'm asking you that because I'm asking you that because of what you said to me the other day. And she's like, I don't know. I forgot how the conversation ended. But basically, she was like, she was trying to explain to me that, like, sometimes you don't know people until you really know people. Because she was still on the fact that I was, like, asking so much about the neighbors. And she was like, what would you do if your friend submitted a complaint? You would just stop being friends with them? And she was like, so you don't think that the neighbor is going to keep watching you and keep trying to find a reason to submit a complaint? And I was like, that I'd stop inviting them over. Obviously, I wouldn't invite them over. And she was like, no, you're just not getting it. And I forget what my mom said after that. I forget what the moral of the story was, but it was a Bible verse. I know it was my mom. No, my mom. It was a Bible verse, but she was like, my mom told me, she was just, I forgot what she said. But yeah. And that was the first time I realized I was being mean. Because my mom was like, no, you don't understand the meaning of neighbors. You don't understand that. And I just felt like, I kind of honestly just felt really rude after that.